After so many years spent traveling, here are some things that I care about less now than I did when I started. Some of them may surprise you, some of them won't, and some of them, if you know me, you might roll your eyes. One of the things I care a lot less about now than when I started traveling is everything going right. I'm a huge planner. Now, it's what I did in my 9 to 5 before I was laid off. And I just a project management background. So having everything organized and everything being executed correctly is a big thing. I'm not a perfectionist, though I've been accused of that, but I always just wanted things to go right, to go according to plan when I started traveling, and if they didn't, it threw me for a loop. I don't care so much about that anymore. A lot of that comes from age, and experience. I've been traveling overseas internationally for 20 years now, so you can imagine I've had a lot thrown at me. But I think a lot of it also comes from learning from the experiences when things didn't go right and being able to plan for the what ifs. For example, I like having a longer layover than most people do, especially when I have to catch flights internationally, or if I know, depending on the season, that there may be winter storms rolling in. I plan for that and I leave extra time in my layovers. This was huge when I flew down to Antarctica last February and I got stuck on the tarmac in New York for 2 hours waiting to be de-iced. Because I had a long layover in Buenos Aires, I was able to make my flight to Ushuaia and everything went perfectly well, which I rarely use the word perfect when traveling, but everything went according to plan. And that being said, because I had that all planned in there, I wasn't stressed about it. I knew everything was gonna be fine, and in the past, I probably would have been losing my mind on the airplane, which is the wrong time and place for that. So, I care a lot less about things going right now, than I did when I started traveling. And quick side note, this is my other kitty, who's my super shy kitty. Normally, my tabby comes up here, I call her my little helper. Um, and so this is my other kitty. Her name's Miss Cassie Kitty, but I call her Miss, and she doesn't usually do this. So this is a bit of a treat to have her up here with us today, so she can be my helper. And yeah, that's her introduction. She's just I call her my big chicken because she's usually my free cat. She runs away. So yeah. While she sits here and helps us out and keeps me distracted, let's think of some of the things that I care a lot less about now than I used to. Um, Packing. Packing is something I care a lot less about now than I used to. Again, I used to go through everything, check everything, we felt like 100 times to make sure I had all the items I needed. I had something for every scenario that was maybe gonna happen on the trip. And now I just don't care. This sounds really bad. I bring the basics, I bring what I think I'm gonna need, and I say, "You know what? If I forgot it, not a big deal. I'll just buy it when I get there or I will figure it out." And it's reduced a whole heck of a lot of stress to think this way now. I can tell you examples of things that I forgot that I left at home and just or whatever, didn't anticipate needing it. Probably should have brought it. It's fine, we'll buy another one, like, this last time I was in Europe, I didn't bring my phone's waterproof, like, case sleeve that I could tuck it in. Had one, thought about bringing it, decided I didn't need it, ended up needing it, so not a big deal. I went down to one of the local stores, and I bought another one, and everything was fine. Um, in the past, that would've driven me nuts. I would have kicked myself for having not brought it because I know better and I'm a better planner than that. And nowadays I just don't care. I go buy it. The world hasn't ended. And if I'm in a place where I know I can't find something, then I figure it out or I move on. It's not worth fussing over things that you can't control or you could have controlled, but you know, you're in the situation. I'm much more focused on moving forward than spending the time kicking myself for something that really just doesn't matter. Um, yeah, yeah, that's another one. Here's a weird one that comes to mind. I As I've gotten older, I've traveled more. People phase me a whole lot less than they used to. People either not being helpful or just not just being people, just being human. I I used to just like I go 0 to 3,000. It would just make me so mad. And anymore, I'm just like, you know what? I don't I can't say I don't care, but I don't get my feathers so ruffled anymore when things go crazy. I'm like, whatever, I deal with it in the moment, and maybe I let it out and journal later if I need to. But people really don't bother me like they used to. Inevitably, you're gonna meet someone who woke up on the wrong side of the bed that day, and they're gonna be upset, they're gonna be grumpy, they're not gonna be helpful, they're not gonna be productive, or they're not gonna understand what you're saying, what you want, and that's life. It sucks when that happens and there's a language barrier. Things have gotten a lot easier with technology and your phone, but um, that used to really, really make me mad, and it just doesn't phase me anymore. There are certain circumstances, like anything, where yes, actually it does phase me. So I guess I can never say never, but for the most part, just smile and nod and move through it all. And I think, yeah, I think that come with time and experience, and I think it also has to do a lot with taking a focus on personal development and personal growth over the years. That is something that has been a huge help for me. There's a lot of different resources out there. I'll drop a resource that I really like to use in the comment here, that I think has helped me not only personally but also in my travels, just to make sure or help give me a better chance of not flying off the handle, ruffling feathers. Because there's of course a time and a place for that. And things that ruffle my feathers a little less than they used to. Um, Airport security stresses me out. To this day, it stresses me out, but to a lesser extent. I remember back in the day, I would go through airport security, and it was the most stressful thing there was no reason for it to be. It's not like I ever had a bad experience or ever done anything wrong. I'd never been pulled aside, but there was something about it that just wigged me out, and I would walk up, into the airport, and I just start stressing, and I would start sweating, and like it was it was bad. Anymore, it doesn't really phase me. It still stresses me out. I still get worried. I still walk through the scanner, and I'm like, okay, waiting for the go ahead. I still worry what my bag go through, even if my bag is nothing but clothes and shoes. Believe it or not, I have had a bad pulled aside and searched people, and it had nothing but clothes and shoes in it. Wild. Weird, wild experiences like that. So security still phases me, but not like it used to. It does wig me out a little bit in other countries when there is a language barrier, because well, there's always a little fear that something's going to go wrong, and I can't communicate, and I don't want it to be a misunderstanding. So that's another thing that's somewhere on the borderline of it doesn't phase me anymore, and it still phases me. Um, let's see what else. Well, let's do one more. What else doesn't phase me, or I don't worry about anymore? Um, actually, let's go the opposite. Let's do one that maybe most people don't know about me. I love to fly. I've always loved to fly, and I love to travel. I still get a little bit nervous before any trip I take. It's weird. It's the weirdest thing. You would think that having done this so many times to so many different places that it wouldn't bother me, it wouldn't stress me out. But there's always a little bit of nerves before heading to a place. There's some second guessing sometimes. Like, why do I do this? Um, Not knowing what's on the other side. I've heard that from other travelers as well that have traveled even more than I have. They and say, I always get nervous before a flight still, and And I think that's just normal. It's human nature to, the unknown as being a scary thing, an exciting thing, both simultaneously. So that's and just to end, kind of on the flip side of things. Yeah, I still get nervous. I still question things that I'm human, no matter how much I've done this. And yeah, I hope maybe that you guys can relate to that as well. Yeah, I know I'm human, and yeah. So there are some things, that don't phase me anymore. Some things I've grown out of, some things that I think maybe I will probably never grow out of, and maybe it's healthy to never grow out of that little bit of apprehension of traveling to a new place, traveling to the unknown. I think it's a healthy thing to have that and use it to your advantage, to do some research and make sure that you're as prepared as you can be. So yeah, we got into it there. It was kind of a fun topic. I didn't thought to talk about that, but I enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll drop some resources down below, and happy to have you here. And I hope you stick around and hang out in my little corner of the internet for a while. So I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.